Let's go. G'day everyone, Viv here. I hope you're all keeping well. Welcome back. Now, I've scheduled this live stream because I know I'm not going to edit any videos. And I thought it would just be easier to do a quick live stream, have a little bit of a chat, talk about some things that are on my mind, specifically releasing my files, how to go about doing so, and generally get the ball rolling. Now, I'd say I'd rather do the live stream rather than a video because I've filmed a little bit of stuff, and when it comes to sitting down and editing the videos, I just get wrapped up in my head. My ADHD has been kicking my ass a little bit, and I just get to the point where I'm like, nah, I don't know if I want to do this, and then I stop. But with the live stream, I click the go live button and then I have to do it, right? So this is where we are. I hope everyone has been well. I have disappeared off the face of the table, so to speak, for a while now. Everything at the studio, at the warehouse is wrapped up. There's a little bit of work that I still need to do there. The building's going to auction in April. We're clearing it out. It is the actual end of that chapter. Except, behind me, you can see there's a shrink wrapping machine here. There's a second shrink wrapping machine here. I haven't sold my lasers yet because, again, from a procrastination perspective, I'm like, I want to do this. I need to clean this bit, or I should do that bit. And now I'm setting up PCs and installing job control software, and so I can sell it as a whole package. Here's a laser. Here's an extractor. Here's a computer that runs everything. All you need to do is plug in your compressed air, and you've got a fully functional system. But that has all been wrapped up. I want to get some music on while we're having a bit of a ramble, yeah? And then we'll jump in. We'll talk about a few bits and pieces that I just need to put out there. Now, I don't want this to be a hugely long live stream. Again, from the perspective that I do, I really... Oh, hang on, let me turn that down a little bit. I really need the feedback from people who watch this afterwards. Again, because... I haven't done any live streams here at Knights of Dice for such a long time that we're not going to have that audience. It is something I'm wanting to do, and we're going to be setting all of that up. Setting up a regular Friday 6 p.m. Rather than 4 p.m. gives people a little bit of time to get home from work. Plus, it gives me a couple of extra hours to sleep. I don't finish work until 5 a.m. on a Friday morning. So starting at 6 gives me a little bit more time to, sleep. And gives people time, here in Australia specifically, time to get home to, tune in for at least some part of the stream. And we'll get back into, just talking about tabletop stuff, doing a little bit of design work, talking about what files we should release on the Patreon that month, and, all that sort of stuff. I do stream regularly every weekend over at my other channel, Crouch After Dark, where I predominantly play Star Citizen. And that's been a huge amount of fun. And I love the community that's been built there, that's growing there, and the support I've received there has been absolutely incredible. Excuse me while I squint, and I just need to clean my glasses. They're covered in crap. And that's been super, super fun. Again, it's very much on a non-regular basis, but I do want to make a Friday live stream, 6 p.m. here on the Knights of Dice channel. Followed up by a nice gaming session at 9 p.m. over at Crouch After Dark. It'd be a nice Friday afternoon for me. So let's jump into the meat of things. Last year, I had announced that I was going to be releasing my files digitally on my Patreon and as well as on my website. And I did nothing about it. And outside of setting up the Patreon and having a few people pop in and show their support, just essentially donating money to the poor wargamer, and have been doing so now for a couple of months, and I haven't done anything about it. As I mentioned, my ADHD stuff was kicking my ass, and I just procrastinated, and then it got to the point where I was paralyzed by fear. I was like, well, I've had all these people express interest in the Patreon. Some dude on YouTube, good morning from Germany, thank you for joining me here, mate. I hope you're all keeping well. And so I didn't do anything about it. And then I was like, let me make a couple of quick videos. I'll film the process of setting up this little shed that I've built out the back, and then I didn't edit that video, and then one thing led to another, and before you know it, it's now almost March. It's the 28th of February. It's tomorrow is going to be the 1st of March 2025. and nothing has happened. So I thought, look, what better than to put on a live stream, have a bit of a chat. Let's, jump in, talk about a few things. Again, I don't want to keep this too long. I do want people to watch this after the live stream. It's obviously going to be here available on YouTube. And so I can get the comments and the feedback from people. I'm going to jump into my screen here. Why not? Let's just get things rolling. Hang on. Why did that not work? Here we go. Let's have a bit of a chat. So, as you may or may not know, all of our work at Knights of Dice was done in the beginning 2D in Adobe Illustrator. Basically working with line diagrams, and Scott and I having to think about how things, connect, in 3D in our mind. We're working in a 2D plane, and then after, I don't know, about a year or so, maybe a little longer, we were like, we should start designing in SketchUp. And so everything that we've done now for years and years and years has been done in SketchUp. Now I'm using a very old version of SketchUp, SketchUp Pro 2016, back when you could buy SketchUp. So I don't have a subscription. I think now on SketchUp you can only have like a monthly subscription. So I have never felt the need to update. This does everything I need it to do. Piney, how are you, my friend? What Friday Arvo Brew are you on, Viv? I am on a little bit of brown water. A little bit of brown water. You haven't used SketchUp in years? Well, it's probably not the best program to use, but it's the one that we used, and it's the one that I'm most familiar with. So that's what I've stuck with. So all of our work starts off here in SketchUp. It all then gets flattened, right? Let's just say that this is one of our kits here. Okay, so let me give some context about what we're talking about here. Where the hell is a top-down view? I haven't looked at this for such a long time. Here we go. Let me get some context. So I need feedback from people about how to release the files so that other people can use them. Because for us, when we get to this point where we have a line diagram, let me bring something up here in Illustrator. Let's go into the NAS product development. Let's pick one of these models from Mirrors of Talan, Ruins of Ilaria. Let's bring up the Ruined Storehouse. I really like the Ruined Storehouse. Let's bring up the SketchUp model. So our files, once we've done the model in SketchUp, it then goes over to Adobe Illustrator. So this is the Ruined Storehouse, right? Lovely little model. Oh, coincidentally, let me just go back to what I was showing you just before. This is where the original Mirrors of Talan, the Cities of Ilaria terrain started from. You can see I start with blocks, right? Just some blocks, some shapes to, give me something to work with, some sort of geometry. And then, that slowly moves into, a very basic, what would be a tabula rasa model. Something like this. And then from there, after a little bit of work and a little bit of playing around, it sort of evolves into something like this. And from here, I was like, look, I want to build these models like a Lego set. So I started designing all these, templates and stuff. And then Scott got involved, and I was like, hey, Scott, what do you reckon about this? And so then we built the whole Mirrors of Talan, the Cities of Ilaria range based off of a whole bunch of templates, building blocks essentially, like Lego pieces that Scott and I worked on. And eventually we came up with, you can see that the styling and the concept is very, very similar. Anyway, so we have this model here, 2017. Hey, Some Dude was the last version to buy, if you recall. Yeah. So SketchUp has been around for a long time. We did temporarily use another program. I can't remember what it was called. Very, very briefly. No, I can't remember what it was called. Control-Shift-C was top-down if memory serves. I used to design our kitchen 15 years ago. Oh, wow. So we end up with you know, a 3D model, and then that gets that then gets flattened, right? Using a little you know, plug-in here. What's happened? I've got to figure out why. Because I have two PCs here. One's my streaming PC, which is doing all the streaming work, and then my gaming PC, or in this case the one that's running SketchUp at the moment. My mouse keeps switching between them randomly for some reason. I don't know why that started happening in the last couple of days. And so we use some you know, oh my god, I don't have it here. This is gonna make things complicated. Here, so we use this plugin called Unwrap and Flatten, right? It basically, you know, it does exactly that. It unwraps that that entity and it flattens it on the canvas here. Where the hell are the rest of the components? Oh dear lord. Professional. Anyway, so it flattens out all the components, and then we end up with, this has been completed, this kit, but let me open it up in Illustrator. And so the whole context behind this explanation is, this is the way that we work, right? Oh, my mouse has disappeared off again. Why? Drive me nuts. Oh god, it's been months now since I've done any of this. I don't know what I'm doing. And so we end up with all the components, right? These are all the 2D diagrams that oh, why can we not see this correctly? The lines are normally way darker than this. It's been a while since I've done any of this. You'll have to forgive me. It's going to take me a little bit of time to get my head back around things. And so we end up with this file, right? This is an Adobe Illustrator file. And from here, obviously, this is an Illustrator file. We have the option to export this to an SVG or a PDF or a DWG or an EPS or, you know, whatever we want. But from here, we'd simply take this this document, if you will, and we'd print this to a program called Job Control. And Job Control is what Trotec lasers use. It creates a proprietary file, called a JPF or something, that the Trotec lasers and the Job Control software would use to then run the lasers. Now, I know most people don't work like that. Well, I guess this is my question, right? You know, I'm not 100% sure. For me to be able to provide files to those people who are supporting on Patreon, you know, set up a monthly, you know, you get 4 or 5 kits every month, and or be able to make them available on the website for people to be able to buy them and download them and cut them at home. I need to provide these files to people in a format that's going to be usable by them. And I've never looked at any of this, you know, so I've no idea what file types people would need to be able to, you know, run these on their lasers at home. We also then have another issue of all the different colors and stuff, which is why I'm trying to get a view that shows us the colors. I don't know what's going on here, but we'll figure it out. Let me turn the grid off. Oh God, it's been such a long time, man. I swear there just used to be a button. Where's Scott when I freaking need him? I swear there used to be a button that just says show hide grids. Show pixel grid, grids in black. Type, oh God, I don't know. So we use different colors here. I don't think we can actually see anything that's going on here. I don't understand. If you need help getting things organized, set up, etc., then you'd be more than happy to help out, bro. Ziggurat, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. Well, what I really need is, at this point, advice. So we use, for all of our cut lines, so this is a cut line here, right? We use this pink color. 255025. For all of our engraving lines, we have two different types of engraving lines. We have this brown line. 10251 something. Yeah, 1025110. So on our laser, on the Trotec lasers, when it opens up this file, the laser can use 16 different colors, and thus therefore have 16 different settings to do different sorts of things. The intensity, you know, how much power there is for the laser, whether there's an offset, so does the laser move further away from the material, thus creating a more, you know, a fatter sort of out of focused, you know, score mark. And so this brown color we use for something that we want to have, you know, more definition, deeper and wider. And then something like this red here, which is what we put all the product codes or the sprue codes. This is just a very fine, this is a hairline engraving, so something very, very fine. Now, I don't know if, you know, the majority of people who are using whatever lasers they're using have the ability to control their lasers on this sort of level. I'm assuming they probably would. So I guess my first question is, what file types or file formats do people need these files in to be able to work with them? Secondly, what colors do people need the lines to be in? And thirdly, what sheet size should I make them available as? Should I just do like one big document and it's got all of the pieces on there, and then the people can then pick and choose those pieces and place them however they need to fit whatever laser type they have? You know, for example, this kit here is slightly less than an A3 sheet. It's 420 millimeters wide by 298 millimeters, so it's a fraction less than an A3 sheet of paper. In fact, it might exactly be an A3 piece of paper. I'm not sure. The other three big questions I have at this stage is, you know, what file format do people need the files in? Should I just give the files on, say, A4 sheets? Or the pieces or the components on an A4 sheet? And do I need to do anything to the colors? Now, the other thing I've been thinking about, so I guess there's a fourth point here, is that many of our kits use 1.85mm MDF. Now, I don't know how common that is. It took me ages to find that material. So I don't know how common 1.85mm MDF is available for people. Oh, I guess this brings up a fifth point. I really should write my thoughts down. So should I spend the time, it would take ages, but you know, we just bite away at it bit by bit, and or convert, I guess I should say, all of the kits that are made from 1.85mm MDF to 3mm MDF. Now the 1.85, especially for stuff like it's going on. It's not called cyber warfare. It's called Easy District, part of the Century City line, the Easy District range. Our sci-fi stuff. It looks great in 1.85, and I think making it into 3mm MDF is just going to make it look too chunky. I don't know. And then I guess the fifth point, right, is that the Trotec lasers. Let me jump back in here. I need to figure out why we can't see things properly. Normally these lines are much, much darker. Anyway, we'll just use the outline. So this piece here, for example, you can see it's 22 millimeters wide by 3 millimeters thick. This is a slot that some 3mm MDF is going to slot into, right? We have no tolerance here because the Trotec machines are super, super accurate. Whereas when I was using one of the red machines, one of the Chinese red lasers, we had to make these slots maybe 3.2 because the lasers just weren't terribly accurate. So we had to have some level of tolerance for components to slot together. Now, our files don't have any of that. So is this another concern? How our models slot together? You know, I've got to try and keep in mind here that I don't want to create a huge amount of work for myself. I am essentially trying to recoup some money that we've spent for the last 9 years at Knights of Dice through making these files digitally available for people to, you know, buy and download at home and cut themselves. I don't necessarily want to create a huge amount of work for myself. So do I need to think about adding in some tolerance here, or do I let people sort that out themselves? These are my pressing questions. Now, I haven't... Whoops. That's the wrong button. This is the right button. Now, I haven't been on the website for a while. I put a couple of products which I found the other day up on the website. I do want to jump back in there and, you know, put my thoughts together in an article. We'll come back post-mortem, so to speak, and throw that article into the description here so people can go ahead and you know, read through something that might be a bit more coherent than this ramble. Yeah, so I guess, you know, from the perspective of, you know, really moving things forward, from a Patreon perspective, those people who choose to support me, you know, each month will get a handful of files, and then, you know, anyone who wants to buy the files, or I guess this is another point, can buy them on the website and download them. I am thinking that once I figure all of this out, what file formats, what I need to do to these documents to be able to, you know, have people download them and them to actually be useful for them at home on their lasers, that I will do all of that work and then just make everything that's on the website available to purchase now, so to speak. Well, not now, but, you know, rather than, you know, releasing, you know, 4 or 5 kits to Patreon and then making those 4 or 5 kits available on the website. And then the next month, you know, release 4 or 5 kits to the patrons and then put those 4 or 5 kits on the website. I'm thinking that I will just make everything available on the website. And so the advantage basically of supporting on Patreon then is, instead of paying $5, $8, $10 per kit or whatever, for the files, you'd pay 10 or 15 or 20 bucks a month and you'd get 4 or 5 files. You're basically getting a bunch of them cheaper, and, you know, in a bite-sized package each month, you just get access to download, you know, some of the files. That way, people who want a specific kit can get it now. They don't have to wait for a year and a half. You know, keep in mind that there's over 400 kits in the Knights of Dice range, and if we're releasing 4 or 5 kits a month, you know, what's that? That's 100 months or something like that. People don't need to wait. I already have a backlog of stuff. So once I figure out what file formats people want, whether the sheet sizes or the page sizes that we use are going to be suitable for people. So we predominantly use 2 different sizes. One's slightly smaller than A4 and one slightly smaller than A3. I don't mind having to come back and relay things out. That's not really a huge amount of work. But to cover most of the bases, what would the sheet size need to be? Should we just do everything on A3 sheets? Would that fit most people's beds? You know, again, this is what, 420 by 298. So 420 by 300 millimeters. I have no idea about, you know, home-based or desktop, you know, laser cutting machines. You know, the beds on our Trotec are 1,000 millimeters, 1 meter by 600. And so we fit 4 of these sheets on our laser bed with a little bit of leftover room for positioning and all that sort of stuff. I do want to do some more design work as we move forward. Once I get the existing stuff sorted out, I'd like to continue doing some design work. Like, you know, these components here. So this was my original concept for the cities of Ilaria. Basically, these little wall sections, these are just, oh my god, mouse, don't do this. Just a standard footprint, you know, standard plate with some components on it, some bits and pieces. And when pieced together, they sort of form, you know, these sort of intercepting walls that you could sort of position, you know, wherever you want on the table. What? To, you know, create different sorts of, you know, layouts and, you know, just modify things a little bit more modularity, I guess is the word that I'm looking for. So I do want to get back to that, to you know, doing some more design work. I really love this corner piece here. I love this piece over here. That's sort of got this raised floor, and so you have this entrance that steps up into it. So I do want to do some more design work. Smaller sheets make it easier for people with smaller setups. This is very true. Let me come back into Illustrator. So there are some components, right, for some of our kits that, you know, this piece here is quite large, right? This is the floor, the upper floor or the lower floor, I think, of the terrace, of the storehouse, ruined storehouse. And this is what, 363 millimeters by 188. Some of the kits have full A3 sheets as a component, as a floor or something. Like if I bring up some of the product development, tabula rasa, apartment buildings, let's take the Meridian for example. Yeah, let's open this one up. So some of our modern apartments, this is the Meridian. You can see the floor of this is almost an A3 sheet. These models are designed to be quite large, quite imposing, lots of interesting shapes and areas and positions for models to be on. Again, I designed this predominantly from a modern's perspective, you know, fighting, you know, through built-up urban areas. And at that stage, I was very much interested in, you know, near modern stuff, you know, the conflicts happening in Iraq and Afghanistan and across the Middle East and stuff like that. So you can see here, for example, I don't understand what's going on. You know, this sheet here, right? This is it is 414 by 289. So, you know, that's the minimum size laser someone's going to have to be able to cut this kit. And it's really not possible to, you know, cut this into smaller pieces without a whole bunch of redesign sort of work. So I guess, you know, there's going to be some kits that some people can use and some kits that can't. Lowers the barrier to entry. You're just talking from the outside. You don't have a laser cutter. You know, that will, you know, what you're saying is true. Just spoken to Scott, and apparently he's forgotten how to resolve it himself. What the turning the grids on and off. Scott is doing absolutely fantastic work. It is so good to see, you know, the quality of work. You know, Scott's quality at Knights of Dice was always above and beyond, and I think it was one of the big reasons why Knights of Dice had such an amazing reputation, and you know, we grew quite well because of Scott's attention to detail and the passion and enthusiasm that he puts into his work. And that comes through. It's evidently clear in the work that he's doing over at Tide World Studios. Tide World Studio. Studio. His models are fantastic. There's so many things that I want to do this year. I need to jump onto the website. I need to put an article together. I need to collate my thoughts from a coherent perspective, put them in an article, put it up on the website, This was just a little teaser, a little introduction, a little bit to say, hi, I'm still alive. I haven't forgotten you. I truly appreciate the support that people have shown on Patreon. It is on my mind constantly, and I do want to do something about it. Moving forward from here, I think every Friday, I'm just going to set up and commit to it. 6 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Every Friday, we'll have a stream here on Knights of Dice, and about whatever is happening. Who knows? It's in my typical file format as of the last couple of years. It'll just be a stream of consciousness ramble. We'll do some design work. We'll watch some videos. We'll talk about gaming. We'll talk about any hobby or lack of that I've done during that week, and just stay connected, just like I do with my community over at Crouch After Dark. We have a wonderful community there. I'm not as active on my Discord there as I'd like to be, but I'm certainly there. I check it every day. Unlike the Knights of Dice Discord, I haven't opened in months and months and months and months. I just need to reconnect and just say I'm here. I want to move things forward, and I guess this is the start. So that's really all I wanted to talk about. Is how do I get these files into people's hands, so A, people can cut some kits, and B, I can earn a little bit of money from the work that Scott and I did over the last 9 years, because I've walked away with a massive debt. I had a huge amount of fun, but yeah. Let's go. That's about it. What file format do people need these files in? What is the maximum sheet size that would be relatively universal? Do people have control over the colors that their lasers setup can use? So if you had a PDF with 5 different colors in it, can you set your laser up to say, do this with this color, do this with this color, do this with this color, etc.? Do I need to navigate the quagmire of converting the 1.85mm kits into 3mm kits? Again, given that 1.85mm MBF might not be massively available for people. That's about it. I don't know. I'm rambling. I had no script, no plan. But coming back to what Piney said, what Friday Arvo brew are you on, Viv? I'm going to go find myself a Friday Arvo brew. I've got a stream coming up at 9 p.m. over at Crouch After Dark, playing a little bit of Star Citizen. But this was just a moment to say hi. I'm excited. One thing, oh my god, I'm absolutely in love right now with Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. And, there's so many things open. I don't know where it's gone. KCD 2, man, is so much fun. Wandering around there has really just, it's helping to re-spark that passion for miniatures. Because I've always been a huge historical person. I love fantasy. I love historical settings. I've been rereading through the Baron's War rulebook. And playing KCD 2 has been, just enlightening. It's such a beautiful game. Anyway, this was always going to be a ramble. That was always the whole point, is just to get on and have a bit of a ramble. CIG still hasn't shipped my Squadron 42. Those. Well, look, 2026 apparently is when we're going to get Squadron 42. At least Chapter 1. Of what has said to be 3 chapters. So, whether we see Chapters 2 and 3 and 27 and 28, who the hell knows? Mr. Trent, how are you, my friend? I'm very sorry to hear about your latest troubles. You've been pumping out the videos lately. I must admit, I haven't really been watching a great deal of, YouTube tabletop content. I spend most of my time just scrolling through shorts or, checking out sailing videos, or, people living off grid or van life videos. Yeah, I have. I will freely admit I've lost my passion for tabletop gaming. And I think part of that was, you know, as everything at Knights of Dice was coming together and, you know, finishing up, and that I was just like, you know, I'm just tired. But I have been tuning in a little bit. I watched some of Trent's videos over at Miscast the other day. Watched a bit of Lockie's stuff over at Zorpazorp. And playing KCD2 and running around and seeing all these beautiful, you know, medieval villages and stuff. And, you know, I can't show you at this point my games room. It's basically become a mini warehouse. All of my miniatures have been packed up. All of my display cabinets, you know, I tried to sell, couldn't sell them. Tried to give them away, couldn't give them away. So I just ended up smashing them all up and throwing them out in the tip and almost broke my thumb in the process. It's still sore. No, that's the wrong thumb. It's this one. What's going on, Ninja?
Boo.
Boo.
You got new uniforms a while ago.
You what?
New uniforms.
You what?
New uniforms.
You need new uniforms?
No, we got new.
You did get new uniforms. There's no Tim Tams, you know.
I know I had more.
Well, you did eat them all, and this isn't After Dark, so we don't have Tim Tam Slams here.
Mm-hmm.
But I gotta get some Tim Tams for later on.
Bye.
Bye. It's wonderful to see you, Trent. We really must catch up again. Some dude, I believe it when they ship it. Remember, they did have a date skip for Quadrant 42 before. That was 6 years ago. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Look, a wild miscast appears. Hello, Governor. I'm about to move into your empty studio. I won't pay rent, but I'll sweep up sometimes. Well, that's part of the big reason that, you know, I need to move things forward, is because I don't have any rent there. It's part of the reason why we're selling the building, because as I mentioned, I have a huge amount of fun here at Knights of Dice, but because I get extravagant sometimes and then my ADHD takes over and I don't pay bills and I don't pay taxes, I've got a problem. So I need to move things forward. Mr. Reed, how are you? Come over for a game of Mordheim. I've been seeing this game called Trench Crusade. I don't know anything about it. I've just seen everybody's doing Trench Crusade videos, so I must look into it and check things out. But as I said, my passion for tabletop is pretty much at this point probably the lowest it's ever been. Simply because there's just still so many things in limbo. I don't have a place to do any hobby work. Actually, which way can I go? In that cupboard there is where all my paints are, my painting station. We actually built, let me see if I can find it. It was so cute. Let me see if I can find it. I built in that cupboard a full little hidden painting booth. And again, another video that I did and it was never released. God, when would it have been? What year is it? It's fucking 2025. Oh man, this is... I love this set here. This is the Mirrors of Tulan range. Actually, that's the model we were just looking at. Bear with me for a couple of seconds while I skim through. Oh my word. Oh, where's it gone? I've lost it. Oh, Mr. Brad, Melbourne legend. Oh, there was a cool photo in here. It wouldn't make sense to anybody else except me. I don't know. There was a cool video that Charlotte and I did after I finished building that little hideaway, painting cupboard. But I don't have access to it right now. This is the point, right? Oh god, the studio's been through so many changes. Like, I can't wait to get all this stuff set back up again and start working on some of Scott's super cool models and printing some of those things out, and just moving things forward and rediscovering things. You realize how long it's been since you've seen me, Trent, because the kid is twice as tall. She's growing so much, mate. It's out of control. Bushwalkies, how are you, my friend? Welcome in. Trench Crusade equals World War I mixed with Realms of Chaos. So what is it a Games Workshop game? It slaps, says Scott. Rules are ultra modern. Come play my Mordheim table, it'll bring it back. I should. I really should. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning, the studio is empty. There's a little bit of work there that I need to do in terms of cleaning up the backyard and all that sort of stuff to get it ready for the photographers to come in and photograph everything. The building's going to auction in April, so... but that has been consuming my weekends predominantly, just constantly moving things around, constantly chucking things out. I must say a huge thank you to my brother Aki, who's helped me a couple of times take things to the tip and just generally be there to give me some help. So once all of that is over and finished and done, I know that building my shed here out the back is going to take some time. Obviously, I've got no money for that, but so I'm not going to be able to set up anything like this with my 3D printers and my scanners, and maybe buy some bamboo 3D printers to replace these ones at the bottom here that just have no hair anymore because of this nonsense. But I'm not excited. I want to reconnect with that, and I think popping over to Scott's place to play on his absolutely fantastic terrain would really help. And he's offered so many times, and I've said, yeah, I'll come around. And then I work Monday to Thursday. I do my 7:30 to 3 shift, and then that normally if I do that shift, I get some overtime. I normally finish up at 5, and then I come home and sleep and wake up, and then do it all again. Go back to the studio, sort things out, come home, go to the studio on the weekend, move things, chuck things out, procrastinate. Actually, I could use this bit. Actually, I could use that bit. Maybe I'll do this next weekend. And freaking time has just disappeared. So I do want to get back into it. And I think one of the best ways is to go over to Scott's place and catch up and see some friends. I can't get to the club anymore. I haven't been to the club in years, to Axes and Ales, because obviously I work a night shift. The club meets during the at night on a Tuesday. So it's not made by Games Workshop. It's like Crusades with Tommy guns, demons, and no food. It's not GW. But Tumas Pirnan, who wrote the rules and law. Bamboo was perfect for you. Never once had to adjust my settings. Plug and play. Yeah, I know. Once I pull my finger out, that's a thumb, by the way, being pulled out, and actually sell 2 of my lasers, I will keep one of them because I do want to cut kits as I move forward. From time to time, go, hey, listen, I've cut a couple of sets of this, a couple of sets of that. And, you can buy those on the website. Get the files digitized so people can download them again. I need the feedback. I'll summarize all of this in an article and we'll put it on the website, and just so I can say, so I can move things forward. But we're rapidly approaching the 1 hour mark, or the 45-minute mark. I don't want to keep this video too long because I do want people to come back and watch this after the stream so I can get some feedback in the comments and stuff like that. It's been absolutely wonderful to see some very familiar names in the chat. Thank you, Scott, for popping in. Thank you, Miss Cass. Maybe I'll check out Trench Crusade. And I guess if I want to get some miniatures out, do some painting, I've got to move a whole bunch of stuff, including all my spin casting stuff, which is incredibly heavy, which we had to hire a truck to move because we couldn't get it in my trailer because it's just too damn heavy. Friends, a beer, some snacks, and some games. I'll talk to you soon, Scott. I'll come over and hang out. Trent is right. The rules are mega streamlined, so you'd be right into it. Well, I'm looking forward to it. Look, I want to cut it there. I just wanted to say howdy, show my face. I knew that if I tried to make a video, it would be a lot more coherent and it would make a lot more sense. But I know it would just never get edited and it wouldn't be released, just like so many of the other videos that I've worked on over the last 6 months. It's just not going to work. What the hell is Stream Elements talking about? A cheap bastard only buys milk when it's 50% off. The like button is free, and we don't sell milk. Clicking it helps more than you know. Oh man, I forgot about all these things I set up for Knights of Dice. I like that one. A cheap bastard only buys milk when it's 50% off. The like button is free and we don't sell milk. Oh god. Take care. Trench Crusade lets you go creatively mental. Dig in, literally. Well, I saw Trent's video over on Miscast of his Trench Crusade monstrosities. That looked absolutely fantastic. I really admire Trent's creativity and his just do attitude. But that's it. I'm going to end up rambling about nothing in particular because I've got nothing in particular to ramble about. I just wanted to show my face, get a video on YouTube, say howdy, and let's just kick things off. So Fridays 6 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. I'll be here on the Knights of Dice channel talking about whatever is on the agenda. I'm going to jump back into the Discord and actually we'll start using that Discord properly. And for those people who follow me on Patreon, at some stage soon we will start being able to get files into your hands, so that you guys can start cutting some of these kits that Scott and I have worked on for such a long time. Charles has come back right at the end. Damn, I joined at a bad time. Doom. That's Trench Crusade. Doom, but with religion. Alright, I'll check it out. Can you buy a rulebook for it? Is there a physical rulebook you can buy? I like physical rulebooks. Or is it just PDF? Or right now, I took all the books from the studio upstairs, and when I was putting one of the boxes down upstairs, where I'd set up some bookshelves, the whole floor went boom. It's got to be, I don't know, how much does a book weigh? I don't know, there's got to be a couple of 100 kilograms of books up there, sitting in boxes. Burnout happens, bro. There's no need to force yourself to continue a hobby if it doesn't bring you joy. Exactly, and that's why I haven't been doing anything. But the spark is slowly starting to be relit. And again, it comes back to, what I was talking about before, about KCD2. I have an interest in historical gaming. If I'm honest, that's most of the content that I watch on YouTube these days, or have been. And it's slowly reinvigorating me. So obviously I can't force myself into it because it's just not going to be enjoyable. But we'll slowly get there. Trench Crusade is Warhammer 1K. 1K. I'll check it out. Rules are free. Physical rulebook later in the year. Okay. The Kickstarter made 4 million. Holy crap. Good on them. That's so good. No wonder everyone's talking about it. No wonder everyone's talking about it. Well, that's it. Look, I'm going to keep rambling. I've got nothing specific to do here. Like I said, I do want to come back to do some design work. This was the very original concept for Mirrors of Tilan, the Cities of Ilaria stuff, and then, like I was saying, Scott got involved and we made all these templates, and I'm excited to do some of this. There's a little bit of work that I need to do here at home to get a laser actually up and running. I've got a bunch of kits. Maybe I'll sit down and put together some kits. I'm really keen to do another desert table. What I am really keen to do, God, how many times can I say goodbye and then just keep rambling? It's a talent, it's a skill. I'm sure somewhere there's a university in procrastination named after me. I really want to do some more desert tables. I really enjoy making these desert tables. I want to do some more of these, Cities of Ilaria, ruined tables. That was so much fun to work on. Anyway, I'm out, man. Have a good one. Catch you next time, hopefully. Well, every Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we'll be moving things forward. We'll regular stream here at Knights of Dice. You're going to teach me to edit faster. You'll be shooting and editing in the same day. Trent, I'm one of those people who puts the camera on and records 462,389 And whenever I'm exaggerating, I always use a huge number like that. And I'm really interested to find out if I actually say the same number. Because I mention it so many times, especially over on After Dark when we're talking about CIG and Star Citizen and stuff. Gotta go, you're in the car, Scott. Yeah, be safe, man. And then I'd have to spend 14,392 days editing that video. It's time to reconnect to people. It's time to reconnect with Knights of Dice, with YouTube, with my friends, and to have some fun. Thank you so much. I appreciate people who have been hanging out with me today. I will catch everybody next Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, for another ramble. I'm pretty sure if I press this button here, that's going to end this stream. I'll catch you next time.